Hey guys, good to see you again. I'm out here in my food forest and I'm planting a new fruit tree today, and I wanted to kind of go over my method of planting a fruit tree. Planting a fruit tree, how hard is that? You dig a hole, you throw it in, right? Water it and it's good to go. Well, not quite that easy, but also not that hard. So here's what I'm all about. So basically I'm out here my food forest and I'm planting a dwarf cherry here, nestled between an apple and a pear. And I'm all about trying to get as much abundance and compress as much food growing potential into one space. So that's what I love about a food forest. So a traditional orchard would probably say this is way too close, having trees here, but because this is a dwarf especially, my plan is to have it kind of fill this space here and have the canopy a little bit over it from the apple and the pear. We get a ton of sun here year round, but especially in the summer, it really beats down. This is basically south facing, and the sun comes right over here, so pretty much full sun on this spot. In terms of digging your hole, super important to understand this. Conventional theory used to be you dig deep and to allow the roots to go deep, but now what they're finding is actually shallower and wider is more what you want to do. So here is my beautiful rootstock dwarf cherry. This is a Craig's Crimson cherry from Rain Tree Nursery up in Washington, which is awesome. I love that place. Here in the Pacific Northwest, I try to buy trees that are close by, and they have it on a rootstock here. And this is a dwarfing rootstock for cherries. So they grafted it for me and it's good to go. I think it's about a 2-year-old tree. So I am gonna go ahead. Because what I do here is with this food forest, I am heavy into wood chipping as a mulch. So I have a good 6 to 8 inches, if I can, base layer of wood chips that I refresh every season. And what this does is it gives me a nice layer of this beautiful white mycelium that has really helped my trees talk to each other. It's been really cool to see the amount of growth I've had in just the last 3 years since I've been heavy wood chipping versus having lawn. And so in doing that, when you are prepping a new hole for a new tree, you need to definitely want to rake all the wood chips out of the way. That's the first step. You do not want to be getting your wood chips into your topsoil, and especially where you're planting your tree. That is a no-no. So first thing I always do is rake my wood chips out of the way, of course, and then I have a tarp over here that I am using for camera. You're gonna follow me? It's supposed to be following me. A tarp over here that I'm using for the soil that I dig out. And another thing that I do that's very unconventional is, if you look here, this is my Lila Q block, the infinity block actually, which I was charging my rootstock in. I was actually charging the plant for an hour, or a little under an hour in here, just like this. I had it in here. And we have seen really good results from doing quantum charging. And this seems super woo-woo to most, I'm sure, but those who have gone to Music in Sky or followed Alfa Vedic for a bit and have been following what Leela's been doing, the idea is there's a toroidal field that actually helps engage with all the little mini toroidal fields that are in the biology of this plant and perfects them, gets them kind of back. Think of it as like a metal can that has crinks and or has little bends and tears in it. Well, it will bring that can back to perfection. So, no, trippy stuff. So anyways, I'm going to dig this a little wider, and then we are going to mix the soil with compost, and I also use a little like soil conditioner, because I have, while my soil's got a nice pH here and is pretty healthy. It is has a bit of clay in it, even the topsoil still, and so it needs to be broken up a little bit. So I've put it there, and I'm going to mix those, and then we're going to finish planting. I love using the digging pole. For me here, it makes the job a lot easier. It does most of the work for you, especially with this heavier clay soil we have here. It is pretty badass. So I highly recommend investing in one of these if you haven't already. It makes life a lot easier, and it will save you a lot of broken shovels. And this is one of my favorite workouts too. And I always try to do this barefoot. I try to garden barefoot as much as I can. It just helps me ground and kind of killing two birds with one stone, as you know I always love to do. So just mixing the soil in a wheelbarrow, 1/3 compost, 1/3 soil conditioner, and 1/3 the topsoil that I just dug out. Is usually what I like to do. And then I'll usually finish it with some azomite on top, as well as some more compost and some mulch. And then we're good to go. So this has been mixed well. We're looking good where the plant is, where the tree is placed. So then I just start filling her in. Okay, so got my hole filled in, compost on top, and now going to give it a nice bit of rainwater. Really soak it well, and then, like I said, give it some mulch, and we're good to go. And so I have something like, and this is a 3-year project so far, and I have something like, I don't know, 15 trees in this space, which I can actually show you real quick. And nuts, fruit, stone fruits, apples, pears, all different varieties of apple, which do really well here. Different stone fruits. I have just a couple different stone fruits that have different grafted varieties on one rootstock, which is really fun. And then a bunch of berries and the food forest concept. I'll do a whole other video on really what the theory is about the food forest and how it works. But this has been a really fun project, and really just investing in the future of our family. And it's funny, my son and I, Mateo and I, were reading a comic book that Dr. Edith had given us about Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And it talks about being rich comes from having assets. And I was trying to explain this to him today. And as a couple example of assets, we were going to traditional home or business or precious metals. And then I thought, fruit tree, that's one of the best assets you can have. It just gives and gives and gives. It gives you profit and value without having to do much once you plant it. So if you want to invest in your future, invest in fruit trees, because they can, depending on the variety and the type, they can give you bountiful harvests for 40, 50, 60 years. Pretty amazing. So I hope you guys got a little bit out of this video, help you planting your fruit tree. If you want to know more about Lila, check out lilaq.com, and definitely get out there and plant some trees, because it's one of the best things you can do with your kiddos, and it of course helps our lovely friend Mother Gaia. Thanks. See you next time, guys.